Hi everybody, how you all doing? This is one of the first videos I'm going to do of Comic Book Stew. Yeah, if you look back on my channel, you'll find that I used to do this video where I showed you the comics that was in my boxes, and then I stopped, mainly because I started getting my mug on the screen, and I thought, you know, it's a bit difficult showing you 50 or so or more comics at a time. So I thought, what better way to start doing this than with me when I started recataloguing, reboxing, and rebagging my comics. Word of advice for anybody who's starting out on collecting comic books. In all honesty, if you're going to start collecting comics, start cataloguing them straight away, because you will get in a complete muddle with them. I mean, I've got a relatively decent memory for my comics and their covers and that. But even now, I'm thinking to myself, do I have that comic? Have I got at least a version of that comic or that cover? Or so honestly, if you're going to start collecting comic books, or you've just started collecting comic books, start cataloging them now in some way. Okay. If anybody's interested in how I actually catalog my comics, I've got no problem with doing a video showing you the software that I use. It's nothing really that amazing, but you know, it works for my needs at least. Now, these comics aren't going to be in any particular order apart from alphabetically in the box. So this is box 1 that I'm going to be starting to show you on these videos, and they will be in that. That doesn't necessarily mean that all of these comics in this box are going to start with A. If you've got comic boxes, you'll know how difficult it is to keep the comics in alphabetical order through everything, because once you've filled up a comic box, you inadvertently have to start another comic box, and if at some point you find that you get a comic that needs to go in the middle of the first comic box, you know, you get the idea of the mess that can be made with this. So what I've decided to do is, each of my comic boxes, they're going to just be whatever comics I've purchased at the time in those comic boxes, but in the individual comic boxes they're going to be in alphabetical order. So this could mean that I would have, just to show an example, this is Amethyst Princess of Gemworld number 13. This is the only comic of this series that I've got in this box. The rest of the series could be in box 23, or what will be box, or could possibly be box 23. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the rest of the series is going to be in this box, if that makes any sense out there. I know that there's going to be at least one person out there who's going to be cringing at these videos, Ghost Critic, because I know that you commented on one of my videos beforehand saying it was just completely chaotic, and how on earth could you live with your comics like that? Trust me, it works, honestly. Right. So anyway, with that, just to start on, because I don't want to get these videos too long, I'm going to see about showing you guys 50 comics a video, and about 50 comics a video. You with these short boxes that I'm putting my comics in now, you can get about 200 comics in there without board and backs, or without backing boards and comic bags. With backing boards and comic bags, normal sized comics, you can get around about 185 to 180 comics, all according how thick they are. So if I do 4 videos per short box, that's going to be around about the 180 to 200 mark for each, for each set. So for cataloging purposes, and I'll just draw these curtains here because they're causing a massive glare on the covers of these. For cataloging purposes, this is Comic Box 1, Video 1. Okay, and that just means that this is the first video for this comic box. Right, as I said before, this is Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld, number 13. This is the second series that starred the character Amethyst in, and this is the issue that excuse me, ties in with Crisis on Infinite Earths. As I'm sure everybody knows, it's the big massive event that DC Comics had in 1985-86, which tried to tidy up the continuity in the universe, and for the most part it did actually succeed, where a lot of other reboots have failed miserably. But yeah, this is a tie-in to Crisis on Infinite Earths. I'm trying to get a complete set again of all the tie-ins that I had for this series. I've got the original series of 12 issues for Crisis. Because I've read them quite a lot, they are a bit battered and knackered and that, and not in near mint anymore. So I might see about getting another set of Crisis on Infinite Earth comics when I get a bit more money behind me and that, just so I can say I've got a near mint set of Crisis on Infinite Earths. What I'd really like is to have all 12 issues in CGC 9.8 or higher. But I think that's just being greedy. So yeah, there we go. Amethyst, number 13. This is a free comic book day special that came out in 2010, and it's the Archie Summer Splash. Not much more I can say about that, really. Adventure Comics number 6, with, if you can see up there, there's a what they call a ghost number, and that was ghost number 508, I believe it was, or 509. 509, that was it. And that was just the original numbering for Adventure Comics. They brought these out in 2010, 2009, 2010 year. And it was at the point where DC Comics was trying to bring back some of the stuff that was around in the Silver Age and Bronze Age of the DC universe. And I think for the most part it was quite successful. But unfortunately, after this, they decided they were going to completely reboot the universe again and give us the new 52. And there's issue 9 of Adventure Comics. And this one, I think it was around about issue 520. I think they renumbered it back to the original numbering. But this is Ghost number 512. Issue 11 of the original Batman and Robin series, which begins the return of Bruce Wayne from what happened to him at the end of the Final Crisis crossover event. Battlefields number 4 from Dynamite. This is the first the first part of the Firefly and His Majesty 3-issue story arc that was in the Battlefields miniseries. And this is written by Garth Ennis. If you like war stories and you enjoyed reading the old British war weekly comics that came out in the late 60s, 70s and early 80s, you will love this. These still have the same essence as the war stories that you had then, but they're more updated and maturer and more, for want of a better word, realistic. That's number 5 of Battlefields. I do have the rest of these series and that elsewhere in my collection. Excuse me. Number 8 of Blackest Night, possibly the last great DC event that they'd done in 2010. Blackest Night number 1, Director's Cut. Black Widow number 1. From what I remember, this was meant to be an ongoing series, and then they ended up making it a 6-part miniseries or an 8-part miniseries. Well, they cancelled it after issue 6 or 8. I can't remember exactly which one it was now. So I'm doing this near the window, so if the screen suddenly whites out, it's because of that. How's that look? That looks better. There we go. Getting there. There's issue 1. Again, the same issue of Black Widow, but this one is the Marvel Women of Marvel variant cover. Absolutely beautifully painted there. Picture of Black Widow. That's issue 2 from the same series. And here we have issue 1 of Black Widow, Deadly Origin. Issue 2. Issue 3. And again, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous painted covers here. And issue 4 of the 4-issue miniseries. This is issue 1, the collector's edition of Blood Syndicate. Now this is part of the milestone imprint that DC had in, I think it was 1992, 93 I want to say. And these comics, when they first come out, they were absolutely blinding. A brilliant read. Really enjoyed reading all of these comics. You had, I mean, this was the series of comics that introduced Static X, or Static as he was known in his own comic. And you had Blood Syndicate, Static, Hardware. What was the other one? There was another one as well, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. Oh, Icon, that was it. Icon, which was the milestone version of Superman. Did you see that? Did you see that? Howler Mouse is going to love this next one. I know he is. He's going to fall over when he sees this. Booster Gold, number 29. Personally, I enjoyed this series of Booster Gold. Beforehand, you had Booster Gold, and he was just a complete idiot. He was just comic relief for the rest of the superheroes around him and characters around him. This series tried to give him a bit more depth and make him more of a hero, even though in the DC universe at the time he was still seen as a complete moron. And I enjoyed this. It was almost like Dan Jurgens trying to give Booster Gold a bit of redemption after what Keith Giffen did with him in the Justice League. There's issue 30. And there's issue 31. And talking about Keith Giffen, in issue 32, Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis takes over writing. And that's around about the time, if I remember correctly, I actually gave up on this comic. And I think the only other issues of this I picked up was the ones that tied in with Flashpoint. Okay. We'll move those. Stick them back in the box. And start again. Next up, possibly one of the best series to come out of Dynamite ever. Garth Ennis's The Boys. This is issue 40 and issue 41. Now, The Boys didn't start off at Dynamite. It started off in Wildstorm when they became an imprint for DC Comics. After the first 6 issues of The Boys, published by Wildstorm and DC Comics, Wildstorm and DC got cold feet and basically cacked themselves and said, "Oh, we can't publish this comic. It's just no, we can't do this. No, we're cancelling it." Even though people were buying it, it was a huge success when it first came out. But DC Comics bailed on it. Luckily enough, Dynamite picked up on this, and after a few years of Dynamite printing the rest of these comics, they actually finally brought out the Dynamite edition, The Boys issue 1. There you go. Sorry about all the like I said, sorry about all the light and darkness and that. It's British weather. That's all I can say about that. Right, another series that I absolutely adored that was around before the New 52 reboot from DC was the re-release of The Brave and the Bold. And I know Straczynski's run on this got a little bit of flack from some people, but I enjoy them. This one is showcasing the Black Hawk and the Flash, the Black Hawks and the Flash. This is the Barry Allen Flash, and I enjoyed the original series of The Brave and the Bold, and when you had Batman with a guest hero, and I just loved all of these Brave and the Bold series. There was one that was done with Batman and Brother Power, the Geek, which was a brilliant story. I have Aquaman and the Demon, and this next one, I love this story. It is a really fantastic story. It's Wonder Woman, Zatanna, and Batgirl, and this story tells the tale of Barbara Gordon's last night before she gets shot by the Joker in the DC universe before the reboot, the 52 reboot. Excuse me. And it is just a really nice story to read. If you haven't read it yet, see if you can pick it up somewhere, because it is a really good, and the artwork in there as well by Cliff Chang is just really nice. Brightest Day #0. Another good series from DC Comics back in the day. This one is Captain Atom #30. And if you can see there, it says the Janus Directive. I don't know if you can see it right at the bottom. It says Part 11 of 11. This was a crossover event, a small crossover event that happened over, now I think it was 4 or 5 comics. It was in Captain Atom, Firestorm the Nuclear Man, the Suicide Squad, and Checkmate. I think those were the 4 main comics. If anybody else can remember if there was a 5th comic series that it was in, then please put it in the comment section down below. I'm not infallible. I'm not omnipotent. I'm close to it, but I'm not not totally. So yeah, if anybody knows, I'm sure there was only 4 series, but for some reason my brain's telling me there was a 5th series that this was in. But like I said, I could very well be wrong. And we have Catwoman #48. Gorgeous Adam Hughes cover there. 49. And Catwoman 50, which not only does it have Zatanna in it, but it also goes upon the whole premise of Zatanna wiping the memories or changing the minds of villains in the DC universe. And this story highlights what Catwoman ends up doing to Zatanna when she finds out that, with the help of the Justice League, Zatanna turned Catwoman from being a villain into being a hero. I'm not going to tell you what happens in it. You're going to have to see if you can pick it up and read it yourself. I don't want to ruin it for everybody. And what have we got? Issue 70 of Catwoman, and this is a tie-in for the Amazon's Attacks tie-in story. That there was about 3 or 4 stories that DC Comics at the time had going on. There was Villains Unite, Amazon's Attacks, and there was another 2 that I can't remember off the top of it. Oh, the OMAC project, and something else, and I can't remember exactly what those were. But this is a tie-in to the Amazon's Attack event that happened, or mini event that happened. Challengers of the Unknown number 86. And the only reason why I've got this comic and the next one was because it's got Swamp Thing in it. I was having a bit of a mad on for Swamp Thing at the time, so I picked these 2 comics up. Didn't even realise he was in these ones personally, but. And this, as you can see up there, this is the British pence variant, or price pence variant, whatever you want to call it. They call it a variant. It's exactly the same cover, but with a different price on it. And here we go, Challengers of the Unknown number 87. And then you can see back to the old American Sense cover. This is Dark Reign, Sinister Spider-Man. It's the final part of that 4-issue miniseries there. Hilarious cover, I think, there. And we've got the DC Halloween Special 2009, number 1. And this next one that's coming up, Deadpool is a character that I do enjoy reading. This recent series that is going on, I have read most of the issues, and I've got a fair few of them. But Deadpool's one of those comics that, as much as I enjoy reading it, there are, as far as I'm concerned, much more worthier comics for me to be picking up than Deadpool in the past. If it ever transpires that I get enough money to do so, like if I win the lottery or somebody decides to give me a job which pays me exorbitant amounts of money, then I have no problem with going back and picking up old issues of Deadpool comics, because, like I said, I do enjoy the character. These next 3 comics is the 3-part story arc, which has Hitmonkey in it, which is one of the reasons why I picked this comic up. And I can't remember if this is Deadpool number 19, and this is Deadpool number 20. I can't remember if it's this issue or issue 21, which is this one, which had one of the most laugh out loud scenes I've seen in a comic book for ages. And it's when Deadpool decides he's going to disguise himself so that Hitmonkey doesn't find him and try to kill him. So he decides to disguise himself as a French maid. He doesn't take his Deadpool outfit off or his mask off, but he dresses up in a French maid's outfit, which just had me rolling around in stitches, quite frankly. Absolutely hilarious. Okay. And last bundle for this video, because I want to try and get these to be relatively just small videos so people can just go, oh, that only goes on for about half hour, 20 minutes, I'll watch that. What I've been calling my guilty pleasure from IDW. This is Doctor Who number 7, and this one, as you can see, is the 10th Doctor, ably played by David Tennant. And we've got number 9, and again, I've got most, if not all, of these comics, these Doctor Who comics, it's just not in this box. They're all spread around in other boxes around here and that. So at some point I will get to those issues. And a great series from IDW, I think, and it's a pity that it's quite sporadic, actually. It's the Doctor Who Classic series, and this is series 3, which highlights the 6th Doctor, played by Colin Baker, and issue 2 of that. And the first issue and this issue have the comic strip called The Voyager. Now these comics, the Doctor Who Classics by IDW, they reprint and they recolor comics that originally were printed in Doctor Who Weekly, which then became Doctor Who Monthly, and now it's Doctor Who Magazine. And they're really nice reprints, actually. And this one, I'm hoping that Dan Schafer is going to come back to this character at some point, even if it's just a one-shot issue or even a little mini-series. But I would love to see in print again Dogwitch. This is issue 1. This is a brilliant, hilariously funny gothic horror comedy, for want of a better description. I've done a few videos on this comic before, but I absolutely love this comic series. There was only 18 issues, and I think there's 3 trade paperbacks out for it. So if you're looking for any gothic horror comedy comics out there, this is definitely one for you. And Doom, The Emperor Returns, number 1 of 3 from Marvel Comics. I've got the other 2 of these somewhere around here. And this was Doctor Doom's returning to the Marvel 616 universe after the events that happened in Marvel Heroes Reborn, where the Fantastic Four and the Avengers and the Hulk and Iron Man that returned back to the Marvel 616 universe after being put into a pocket universe by, you know the story, yeah. The whole Onslaught thing and all that, yeah. And next up we've got, now I figured this out, this is actually the 5th series with this team in, and it is Doom Patrol, number 5. This is the Blackest Night crossover issue. This one is the 5th series. You had the first series which came out of My Greatest Adventure, which was then renamed issue 86, I think it was, or 89. There's the Doom Patrol. Then when that got cancelled, you had the second series of Doom Patrol which come out, which at issue 21, no, issue 19 I think it was, Grant Morrison took over and made the Doom Patrol a completely crazy team and comic to read, and a brilliant comic to read. And then you had the 3rd series of Doom Patrol, which was the slightly lacklustering series that only had Robot Man in it, and it had new sort of teenage superheroes in there trying to get used to their powers. Then you had the John Byrne written and drawn Doom Patrol series, and then this one, which was written by Keith Giffen, was the 5th Doom Patrol series, and it was a really good series. It's unfortunate it had to be cancelled so soon. And as well as that, it's another issue 8 of that series, and as well as that, it had Ambush Bug in it as well, which has to be good. And there's issue 9. And finally for this video, we have got an anthology title from Dark Horse Comics, and it is Drawing on Your Nightmares, number 1. So there you go, that's the first video for Comic Book Stew. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments to make on these comics, if you know any more information about these comics, or you just want to, you know, say that you like the video or whatever, then comment section down below. If you, hopefully next video I'll get the lighting sorted out on this. If you haven't subscribed, this is one of the first videos that you've seen on my channel, thank you very much for watching, and please feel free to subscribe. I think it's down here somewhere, around about this area here, yeah. Press the subscribe button. Would love you to subscribe, that'd be brilliant. If you like this video, please feel free to thumbs up. I love seeing green thumbs up all over the place. But obviously this isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, so if you don't like the video, for whatever reason, if you don't like the video and you really feel the need to thumbs it down, then please feel free to thumbs it down. But if you do thumbs it down, please do the common courtesy of saying why you thumbs it down, because if you just thumbs it down and you don't say why you thumbs it down, I can't make these videos better, and I can't make these videos more in pace with what people want to see on them. So that just leaves me to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and enjoy the comics that you read, and I will see you soon. Ta-ta for now.